You're with Julian on the Brown Note on the day that Trump got shot in the ear, and why Biden has to step down. So I've complained a lot and put posts online about how offended I've been by the Democrats, who've had one tactic now for 2 elections, which is fear of Donald Trump. And, we had this huge movement in America, which was that we are against it, that Americans are massively rejecting business as usual. And we saw that with the offshoot of the Trump side of things, but also with the offshoot of the Bernie Sanders side of things. The actual progressives that wanted to change the status quo, not be like Trump and just burn the house down, but give more tax breaks to wealthy people and corporations, which is like business as usual times 2. And the Dems won by eventually just letting fear of Trump outnumber Trump supporters. And they're doing the same again. And the whole time they've sidelined all of the progressive voices in the Democratic Party and gone for business as usual, hewn to that as close as they can. One tactic in 2 elections, and the decrepitness of both of the candidates. I think like a lot of Americans who are voting either way are just sick of both of them. They should have been grooming new people, 5 or 6 new people, to be standing or to be close to standing in the Democrats, and now they've got to this point and they don't even have anyone. They should have been pushing Kamala Harris through a ringer for the last few years instead of just letting her be prissy and hide in the background. They should have been making her front and center, making her combative, and instead of apparently being actually quite brittle, which is not what's needed at this point. So Biden had this terrible debate, in itself an irrelevance. There just isn't, even with the shooting today, there's not one person that is pro-Trump that is going to change their vote to be pro-Biden, and there's not one person that's anti-Trump that's going to vote for Trump. It doesn't matter how debates go or anything else, but the problem the Democrats have, and it's the number one problem they face at the election, is inspiring enough people to outnumber Trump supporters, which they did last time. But they're not doing it this time. They might be ahead at the moment, I would imagine, but that doesn't guarantee that voter apathy isn't going to rot. They have the cost of living crisis. They have 2 wars which are probably wildly unpopular with a lot of America, that scream business as usual, that scream, early 2000 American policemen of the world politics. But the number one most crucifying factor that Democrats face is the perception that Biden won't last his term. It's a very real, credible view. At this stage, it's more about Biden's ego, him staying in the race, because the Democrats could put up nearly any new candidate and then be younger and clean-skinned, and that would cause a massive gulf between who the electorate have. But it's poison at the electoral office to say, my candidate is definitely not going to last the next 4 years. That's not going to inspire Democrats to go out and vote. Perception's king. It would have such a huge impact on Trump. The Republicans have spent so much time and effort going after Biden and Hunter Biden, and the fact that Biden represents the old era of politics, and Obama as well. To have a clean skin in front, it doesn't really matter who it is. It just has to be somebody that can actually be articulate and stand up for things, and be a cognitive difference between the old and the new. But the only reason Biden is in the race, when there are so many Democrats now openly calling for him not to be, this lack of unity is going to be crushing. When Bernie Sanders was pretty much destroyed by the mainstream media, including a lot of the left-wing media, last time around, he called on everyone to support Biden. But there's just apathy. There's no way of energizing a base who think that the candidate they're voting for isn't even going to be who's president a year from now. So Biden, you must step down.